You're watching Newstainment Television.
Thank you.
Tell us about your role with the Science Association.
Well, I feel like I've come a full arc. I remember I was 17 and a half. I turned 18 at the program. And it was like a paradigm shift, because I think for the first time in my life I'd gotten an opportunity to travel to another city, live away from home, meet experts in different fields, discover, their incredible knowledge. And I think in many ways it just prepared me for life and helped me discover my mind and what it is that I really wanted to do with myself. And I was fortunate to have won the pageant and the international pageant subsequently. But I think back now and I realize that had I not won and just been a contestant and experienced that experience and gone away, I think I would have still gained a lot, because it's a platform that really gives perspective and empowers young minds. And as mentor, the one thing that I hope to be able to do with the all the aspirants and participants of the North and South Zone is to give them perspective and encourage them to define their path, and to know what it is that they really want to do with themselves, because there is nothing more empowering than meeting opportunity with preparedness. And I think one can prepare when one knows what one really wants.
Talking about opportunities, do you think girls these days are better equipped to handle these kind of things, or they still need mentoring?
I think with the amount of exposure available across the spectrum, I guess there is a better understanding of many things. Like I had no knowledge of makeup, or I didn't have any professional experience in being in front of the camera, etc. But the fact is that human contact makes all the difference. You can watch videos and learn from people. And of course it also depends on the individual, on their ability to grasp and grow. You can watch 100 TED Talks and be enriched by that experience. But I think when you come into human contact with individuals and you get an opportunity to learn from them firsthand, I think that is an unparalleled experience and opportunity. And I can't think of a better way to empower individuals.
And as compared to what you started in, compared to these, what is a division comparison you see?
I guess there's no more method in the madness. It's a lot more structured. It's a lot more expansive. I was selected to be a part of the Miss India based on an article around Women's Day, actually, that I had featured in the Bangalore Times, interestingly. And so there was no process of interview. I was interviewed, I was met with, but there was no other person, so to speak, from my city or my state who was contesting for the opportunity. So it was quite easy. But it was unique, because it was almost like chance that one got the opportunity. Today I think there's less left to chance and more left to process. Okay. And I think that makes it a more level playing field. It also opens up more opportunities for many more girls.
Why is it these kind of titles are ticket to Bollywood? Why is it that people who are eventually will end up in Bollywood?
Well, I guess it really depends on what you want out as an individual. But the fact of the matter is that when I can only speak for myself, when I joined, when I won my Miss Asia Pacific or the Miss India, I started to get offers. I think it's just an organic process, because I think film studios and producers are looking for young, fresh faces that at some level have already earned the love and respect of Indian households. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a good initial opportunity, but to sustain it, to make something of it, requires talent, persistence, and a lot of bravado. So, those of us who've sustained a career have done so on merit.
What is the one thing you're looking forward in the coming days now? With Sita Students?
I'm just looking forward to meeting these young minds and discovering their thoughts and just getting to know them. And
The millennials.
Xenials now, I guess. They're not even millennials anymore.
Professional side, apart from this, what can we look from you in terms of producing, acting?
Well, it's been a very diverse but a very structured path that I've been following for the last 5-6 years. I am hugely invested in developing content. So that means cinema, digital content. We do PSAs, we do a lot of content to increase consciousness on environment, wildlife, conservation. I'm a very active supporter of wildlife organizations in the country, so I work with them a lot. I'm the ambassador for 2 of them. And then I work with the UN, and I act. So I guess that's exactly how it'll carry forward. But hopefully, I think with every dimension, there will be more, more to do, more exciting work to be a part of, and more of a difference to make.
So it will be actor stroke entrepreneur.
Well, yes, I mean, actor stroke entrepreneur stroke nature champion of nature stroke ambassador.
Okay, now tell me.
You can also add painter, reader, writer.
Wow. Tell me, the whole movie scene, the digital content have changed in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on that? The kind of movies that are coming now.
I think it's exciting times. It's exciting times because I think, for a very long time there was a very, very stark division between thinking cinema and commercial cinema. And I think the lines have kind of blurred, which is great because I think there are very, very mainstream, entertaining films being made that are so socially relevant, that engage you, that provoke thought and encourage debate and conversation. And the other exciting thing is that better parts are being written for women. And thoughtful parts and thinking parts are being written for women. And I think that's really exciting for all of us.
I'm very eager to know your feedback on Gully Boy.
I love the film. It's Gully Boy is one of my favorite Hindi films of all time. I love Zoya's heart, her craft, her empathy. I think this film touches a chord at so many levels. It not only nurtures and inspires, but I think it also just speaks the stark truth. I don't think we invest enough time and effort in talking about the contrasts in India. The fact that you walk out of a 5-star hotel and you're surrounded by slum dwellers. And I always think, what are they thinking when they see these fancy cars whiz past them? A lot of them work in these 5-star hotels. And I think the most compelling thought about the film is that your social strata should never, ever undermine your ability and opportunity to dream and grow. And I think that's a very powerful thought to give India. Because if more people started believing that and started dreaming beyond their, there's this old kahawat in Hindi says, "Jitna chadar hai utna pair phailana chahiye." But this film says, "Nahi, kyun? Go, push it, go beyond it." And I think that's very exciting.
Change your reality rather than
Absolutely, change your reality. Don't change your dreams.
Tell us about Mughal.
Mughals. I can't say very much because it's at a very nascent stage. We've shot the pilot. It was a really exciting experience because I've always wanted to be a part of a historical and play a historical figure. And I get to do that in this. It's a very rich part of our history. It's a part of our history that I think has influenced our culture and traditions in so many ways, whether it's architecture or it's our handicraft or weaving, or there's so many things, right, that the Mughal dynasty or the empire brought with it to India. And it's always fascinated me. And I think it's going to be a very compelling narrative because some of the best people in the business are involved. And we're all very excited about it.
Okay, one question I'm very eager to ask you on environment.
Yes.
Do you think environment is a lost case? The kind of damage we have done, that it's irreversible now?
No. I think the most incredible thing about nature is that it is a self-repairing system. It's exactly like, when we get cut as a child, we notice these things a lot more. When we get cut and we're bleeding, and then we wash it off, and then over days we see that wound healing. We're fascinated by how that skin regenerates, it regrows, it heals. Nature is exactly like that. If you do not interfere with nature and you allow nature to do her work, which is great work and it's free, then nature will perform her duties. We just need to make sure we're allowing her to do what she needs to do. So I don't believe that improving the environment is going to be a lost cause. I feel very strongly about the fact that the young generation, the world over, I'm not just talking about key specific countries, but I think young people all over the planet have a higher level of consciousness. They are seeing what grown-ups have done to nature and the environment and how it's impacting them directly. When more children have asthma than ever before, I guess we all have to collectively acknowledge that we've done something seriously wrong to pollute the air. And I really think that the champions of change are going to be children. And they are being the champions of change. So they're compelling and forcing the grown-ups at home to think better, to do better, to act better. And they will be the ones who will compel politicians to do better.
This is Newstainment Television. Newstainment Television.